Roadside assistance is provided by independent facilities contracted by AAA. Coverage in taxis, limousines, and other ride-sharing conveyances is excluded. Offers, terms, conditions, and policies are subject to change without notice. Visit AAA.com/member for details.
Attention parents. Watch your child go from ABCs to confident readers in just 30 days with Hooked on Phonics. It only takes 15 minutes a day to unlock the most important life skill for their future, reading. We transform kids no matter their starting point with fun lessons, catchy songs, and guaranteed results. One grade level jump or your money back. Right now, get free access to Hooked on Math and Spelling apps plus your first month for just $1. Visit hookedonphonics.com today and unleash your child's reading potential.
With Honey Nut Cheerios, you don't have to sacrifice taste to achieve your heart health goals. So maybe you do the challenging thing, waking up early for your morning routine. But definitely do the easy one, having a tasty and convenient breakfast with your loved ones. Help lower your cholesterol by picking up a box of Honey Nut Cheerios wherever you shop for cereal. 3 grams of soluble fiber daily from whole grain oat foods like Cheerios cereal and a diet low in saturated fat and cholesterol may reduce the risk of heart disease. Specially marked Cheerios varieties provide 0.75 grams per serving.
Holiday season means another year of your favorite music and celebs at the iHeartRadio Jingle Ball, and you could be there thanks to Holiday Inn Express. This year, you can see performances from Katy Perry, 21 Pilots, Shabuzi, and more. And right now at iHeart.com/Holiday Inn Express, you can win a pair of tickets, airfare to New York, plus a 2-night stay at Holiday Inn Express, where you can wake up and start your day right with our free hot, fresh breakfast. iHeartRadio Jingle Ball with Holiday Inn Express, a part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful VC turbo engine, well, we had time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue.
I'm Victoria Cash, and I want to invite you to a place called Lucky Land, where you can play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. So what are you waiting for? The best way to discover your luck is to spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com, that's LuckyLandSlots.com, and get lucky today. At Lucky Land. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
8:19. Go to the 701 here in KFYR 550. Now that Clay and I are all hungry after hearing that, right?
Yeah, serve it up, man.
That's not fair. I can't have any of that stuff in here. Everything gets all icky and sticky and stuff like that. How are you?
Good. How are you doing this morning? Sun's about ready to come up. I saw some mule deer already out in the yard. So, hey, it's a good morning.
There you go. Missouri Democrats' gun stunt that led to a reporter's injury just got even worse. Oh, great.
Oh,
what happened now?
So we covered this a little bit on Wednesday, but there wasn't a lot of information. If anybody hadn't heard, the Democrat Missouri Senate candidate, Lucas Kuntz, and him and another guy, they basically tried to stage a gun range day to prove they're gun owners. Well, that aside from all the safety issues that they ignored, they were shooting targets too close that were steel, probably 5 to 10 yards. There's a new report out there, and that's why I brought it up today, was because the way it looks, according to the Kansas City Star, they're reporting that one of the men that helped organize this entire snafu, basically, in a backyard range, as they were talking about, well, he evidently wasn't legally allowed even possess or touch a gun or ammunition.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
What in the world?
And this is the party that keeps saying we got to have these common sense controls. We want to have the red flag laws, and we want to take away certain firearms because it's all for your safety to keep people who shouldn't have them away from firearms. Well, here's one of these guys it's a Senate candidate running against Josh Hawley down there, and one of his staffers evidently can't be near guns and ammunition. And I guess his name is Chad Everett Downs. He was nearby, and he spoke with a Star journalist saying that the range was his, but the event was taking place at his neighbor's residence. And the whole story goes on. It says that this Downs, who's the guy that is basically can't be around guns, he lives across the way. The neighbor allows him to shoot on the property. And he showed the journalist the firearms that were on the table that belonged to him. Now, he said they belong to him, but yet, again, he's not supposed to be near them or owning them. So, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Court records show that Downs was charged with 17 counts of a felony perjury in August by the Ray County prosecutor, Camille Johnson. He has been issued a criminal summons. He waived his preliminary hearing. His ex-wife, in a court filing earlier this month, he alleged that the man owns or has access to guns in violation of his bond conditions. So the court records show that there's an issue. His ex-wife, she knew about these things and evidently reported it. And I kind of looked into this. Nothing was done and was kind of ignored. And he also was involved, this Downs is his name, involved in basically felony child abuse case. This is according to a probable cause affidavit signed by the investigator of the prosecutor's office. It even has a case number for the case. Doesn't appear in the electronic court system, though, and kind of sounds like it may have been dismissed, but that's unclear. Again, there's no proof either way. So it's out there that this guy can't be around guns. He can't be around ammunition. He definitely can't own them. And here he is organizing an event for a U.S. Senate candidate, a Democrat, and there was some Republican guy there that we don't need to mention from Illinois, but I think it was, because he's a rhino anyway. And they essentially staging this whole thing to see, I'm a gun owner. We're all good. We don't want to take your guns away. We're good people. And yet they keep doing this. Tim Walz, of course, couldn't operate his firearm, which, by the way, I love when he's not governor yet, but our next governor, Kelly Armstrong, came on our show.
I think they have to have an election first, don't they, though?
Yeah, they probably should. He came on
the presumptive governor. Yeah, okay, I get it.
With the actual gun, saying, hey, if Tim Walz is watching, I'm going to show everybody how this properly operates. He did it with ease. So,
and I was going to say, and then I thought of Kelly. I was going to say perhaps politicians and guns don't mix, although I guess I wouldn't call Kelly a typical politician either. But
no, Kelly is the real deal, everybody. He knows his firearms. He knows how to operate them. Jamie and him and I have had many conversations now, especially on the show. And I'm telling you, this guy hunts, he shoots, he knows his firearms, he knows everything about them. And
but if you don't know, don't fake it. Don't try to be a fake Second Amendment supporter. I mean, okay, I don't know my way around guns. I support the Second Amendment, but I'm not going to go on video as some sort of gun expert. I know I'm not. Know your limitations.
And that's just it. And most people see through this. Take Trump. Okay, Trump is he's a supporter. He made some stupid mistakes in the beginning. Anybody can do that. Wasn't devastating, but it's been a lot of court cases now based on brewing over it. But he doesn't go around going to gun ranges trying to prove his knowledge or his accuracy or whatever. He may be a good shooter. I don't know. We don't know that he's not either.
Heck, I don't mind somebody going to a range and trying, but if they're trying to make it like, hey, here's me in my normal habitat, oh, stop it. We can see through it.
Exactly. And that's what the whole point of that is. You take Walz just recently. Obviously, he said he's owned that gun forever and shot trap with it, but he couldn't operate it. I mean, I know the gun, too. I've got several different ones, the brands, but I've also have that gun. And I'm telling you, it's not that difficult to operate.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Unless, of course, it was the first time you touched it. Then you might have some issues, maybe even the fifth time.
But, I mean, was he out there trying to be a know-it-all, or was he out there? Because, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with a politician going, you know what, this is something I should have done years ago. I'm glad I'm getting the opportunity to now try it. And that's fine. That would be fine. But to do the photo op as, hey, here's me in my habitat here with my guns, and then you can't do a darn thing with one.
Exactly.
Come on,
Bud. I think that's exactly what the people are getting at. They're like, whoa, wait a second. This guy doesn't know anything. Why fake it? Just why fake it? There's no reason to
There's
fake
nothing
it.
wrong with not knowing about something. Why do so many of those politician types feel like they have to be an expert on every single thing under the sun? Stop
Sure.
it.
Especially that, because people will see through it. They're going to see your fake.
Exactly.
If you're going to fake that, what else are you going to fake? Plain and simple. And the even worse part is that this deal, a reporter who was covering the event, because they were shooting at these steel targets so close, got shrapnel damage to his arm. He had to go to the hospital. It wasn't life-threatening or anything, but you don't shoot with a high-power rifle at a steel target at 5 to 10 yards. So they didn't even know the protocol there, because they're made to not go through it, right? It's probably AR-500 steel. So the bullet isn't going to penetrate that. So you're going to have fragments, or otherwise known as shrapnel. They're probably going to bounce back. You just may get hit. And I observed when I watched the video, nobody was wearing safety glasses either. I mean, I always wear them.
Jeez.
And that's
Really?
just a given. Yeah, no safety protocols whatsoever. And Tannerite, the company that makes that, had to point out that the Tannerite sitting on the table where they were firing, not a good thing. We don't condone it. You should have it at least 100 yards out there. I mean...
well, as far as the reporter taking a little bit of shrapnel, I mean, the reporter's supposed to get the story. Nothing proves that you got the story more than bringing some of it back with you attached to your arm like that.
He definitely got the story.
Clays, here goes to the 701-828 at KFYR. And Chief Justice race for the Montana Supreme Court. What the heck is going on out there?
Well, I brought that one up because it just shows that you got to pay attention to a lot of these other races. And the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court's a pretty important one in my mind. And this guy, he's being funded tremendously from out-of-state money. I mean, all over the place. And he's not a friend of the Second Amendment. He basically kind of threw down, we have the same law in North Dakota where Montana passed the Montana Firearms Freedom Act, which essentially says that if everything was made in-state, produced in-state, and sold in-state, you don't have to abide by what the federal regulations are. And I agree with that. It's a commerce thing, and if everything takes place within your state, there's no reason to have it regulated out of state by a federal agency. Well, this case went to court, and Judge Lynch happened to be the federal officer supervising the federal lawsuit. Because remember, he was a former federal magistrate judge. And when he did that, he went into all the reasons and whys and cherry-picked all the information he could to say, you know what, I don't think you have any standing in this case. You have no reason to even bring it. And he dismissed the case on those grounds. I mean, this is a 59-page document. It was written with his very clear goal to dismiss this because he himself disagreed with the legal principles that the case was coming forth on. He didn't believe you should be able to do this. He didn't believe anybody should be able to manufacture and produce everything in state. And he's kind of known for being that way after looking into him. So that was his judgment. Funny thing is when it went back to court, to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which they're no friend, of us. You know, Rush used to call them the Ninth Circus Court of Appeals because they were so crazy in their rulings. They even overturned this thing. So he's not a suitable candidate. The Montana Shooting Sports Association came out big against him, as they should. They were also listed in the case along with their president, Gary Marboot. And I can't agree with them more. I thought I'd bring that up because it is so close to North Dakota, right on our border. And judges are important, just like your county commissioners and your local commissioners. It's all important. Watch those cases because most of the time people don't even look who the judges are. They just vote for the candidate on the ballot. So this guy's no good.
As long as the Hollywood element of Montana stays in Montana, it doesn't start filtering over. I'm not talking about the good Montanans. I'm talking about the people who suddenly think they're going to... I watched Yellowstone, and I can be like that too, Montanans. Those people.
Yeah. Those people, yeah.
You know, because it's like, anybody can do any of that. Shut up. No, they can't. Stop it. Clay's here. It's Guns in the 701, 831. More on the way on KFYR.
KFYR 550.
Friday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show. We will continue to track everything that's going on 11 days from the election as we head into the next to last weekend before the election. And we will head up to Ohio with Bernie Moreno, whose campaign is surging. And then we will head out to Nevada, where Republican early voting is very strong, to talk with Captain Sam Brown. All that coming your way Friday edition of Clay and Buck, coming with us
this morning at 11 on KFYR.
Your KFYR Farm Field Forecast is brought to you by Northwest Tire, General Equipment and Supplies, Poland Steel of Jamestown, and Dakota Legacy Initiative.
Good morning. Here is your AccuWeather Farm Field Forecast. Today, sunny skies and the high 60. Winds will be from the northwest. Wind speeds at 6 miles per hour. Humidity at 79%. Dew point 28 degrees. Soil temperature at 39 degrees. Sunrise 8:16 a.m. Sunset 6:37 p.m. That's your Farm Field Forecast. I'm Steve Williams for AccuWeather.
Right now, it's 30.
It's Mitchell in the Morning, KFYR 550.
Coming up next, we look at the ag exports as they will suffer without a new farm bill. It's been long overdue. We'll check into that next on the Dakota Farm and Ranch Report.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
KFYR.
With the Dakota Farm and Ranch Report, I'm Scott Bachmeyer. With September 30th expiration of the current farm bill, many important ag programs are still on hold, including several trade promotion programs. Betty Resnick, an economist for the American Farm Bureau Federation, says that Title III programs generate outstanding returns for farm bill investments.
Title III is often called the trade title and accounts for less than 0.5% of overall farm bill spending. Half of that goes to an aid program called Food for Peace, which uses U.S. commodities to do capacity building, and the other half goes to export market development. These export market development programs have major bang for their buck, and a 2022 study found that for every dollar spent on these programs, an additional $24.50 of agricultural exports resulted.
Resnick says that Title III programs promote a wide range of commodities.
These programs benefit all of agriculture. That's one of my favorite parts about them. Over 70 organizations representing different products were awarded grant funding in 2024. This hugely diverse mix ranges from big commodities like corn and soy to smaller ones like hops, ginseng, and cranberries. As cranberries are really only grown in North America, export development dollars are used to educate consumers on how to incorporate them into their diet in culturally relevant ways and on their many, many benefits.
She also says that ag trade is essential to the overall agricultural economy.
About 20% of all U.S. ag production is exported overseas, and there's also $2 of domestic economic activity created for every dollar of ag export. So ag trade is important both for our sector and the economy at large.
With the Dakota Farm and Ranch Report, I'm Scott Bachmeyer.
KFYR, your ag authority.
Your Halloween soundtrack starts with Halloween Radio on the free iHeart app. With your hands on your hips. Plus custom playlists from every genre and the spookiest podcasts on the planet. Open the free iHeart Radio app, search Halloween, and listen now.
iHeart Radio.
Free never sounded so good.
It's the Marketer's Report. Today, Erica Taylor, Chief Marketing Officer of Genentech, explains how audio is an ideal way for brands to tell their stories.
Everyone is listening somewhere, somehow. I think that there's something deep in all of us that enjoys listening to and telling stories. When I think about what we do here at Genentech, we do a lot to actually tell the broader story of our company and the legacy that we stand upon. 45 years marketing more than 40 medicines over that time period. And we celebrate that in story form, in audio format. It's a great way for people to learn more about what we offer and to be educated in an easy and convenient way.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Hey friends, I'm Jessica Capshaw.
And this is Camilla Luddington.
And we have a new podcast, Call It What It Is. You may know us from Graceland Memorial, but did you know that we are actually besties in real life?
And as all besties do, we navigate the highs and lows of life together. And now here we are, opening up the friendship circle to you.
Listen to Call It What It Is on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Call It What It Is and start listening.
KFYR.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. Closing arguments 11 days out.
I'm Bruce Springsteen, and I am here today to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for president.
As last night at the VP's Georgia rally, and today the promise of Beyonce and Willie Nelson at her Texas rally. Fox's Peter Ducey on the gender gap.
According to a Quinnipiac survey of Battleground, Michigan, women are breaking for Harris by 20 points. Men are breaking for Trump by 16 points. The VP claims she's not concerned about such a wide gender gap.
It's not what I see. In terms of my rallies, in terms of the interactions I'm having with people.
Donald Trump hammering Harris in Arizona and Las Vegas rallies.
Further defeat inflation and bring back our economy, I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate.
While President Biden makes a third attempt to cancel some student loan debt. America's listening to Fox News.
And now from North Dakota's news authority, Todd Mitchell, KFYR Radio News.
The western part of the region will get more cloud cover. Otherwise, much of the region will be clear. Seasonable temps expected today. A warm up through the weekend. Mainly dry. As we get into next week, we'll level back off. For Bismarck, AccuWeather calling for sunshine. 60 today. Partly cloudy, 32 tonight. Partly sunny, breezy. 60 again tomorrow. 68 Sunday. 67 Monday. Then 53 Tuesday. A Bismarck man pleading guilty to a downtown murder. Timothy Two Horses pled guilty to murder yesterday. He told the court he stabbed 57-year-old Ernest Els at the Patterson Place Apartments last April. Prosecutors claim Two Horses told Els to give him meth or he would kill him, and that when Els asked him to leave, Two Horses stabbed him in the heart. If convicted, he could be facing a life sentence without the possibility of parole. An internal investigation underway in Burleigh County following the sudden resignation of county elections coordinator Lisa Hart, who stepped down just a few weeks before the general election, citing job stress as the issue. There's speculation that may stem from a hostile work environment. Hart would not confirm that was an issue. County Auditor Mark Splonskowski denies accusations of a hostile work environment in his office. North Dakota School Superintendent Kirsten Baszler announced that Jamestown School Board member Jason Rohrer has been appointed to the State Board of Public School Education. Governor Burgum appointing Rohrer to complete the term of Burdell Johnson, who resigned in August. The term ends June 30th, 2026. Rohrer chosen from a list of 4 candidates suggested by a nominating committee of education stakeholders. Rohrer will represent Burleigh, Stutzman, Eddy, Foster, Kidder, McLean, Sheridan, and Wells counties on the board. The board oversees North Dakota's 6 regional education associations and North Dakota's K-12 Education Coordination Council, which encourages collaboration among education stakeholders, supports education innovation, and advises the state legislature. State Department of Game and Fish said wildfires in western North Dakota have not affected the number of deer. People and livestock were dramatically affected by the 6 western fires burning earlier this month, but officials say the deer population itself didn't suffer many losses. They were displaced, but not killed. Most of the wildlife was able to escape the burn zones. Officials hope over time some moisture can restore those grasslands. 2 men under arrest for allegedly stealing a safe filled with ammunition from a garage in Williston. Police say they received the report of the theft October 15th. Dalton Gajeski and Jacob Jensen were each taken into custody after an officer in the patrol in the area saw a safe inside a pickup that matched the description of the one that was missing. Gajewski already on probation from a prior drug-related felony. Jensen facing felony burglary and theft charges. No injuries after a train hit a semi-tractor trailer near Mapleton. Cass County Sheriff's Office said the accident happened early yesterday on a dirt road with no crossing gate. The initial reports that the truck was traveling south when it proceeded through the crossing as a westbound train was approaching, and that the train hit the trailer behind the truck. No train cars derailed. The 27-year-old driver of the truck issued a citation for failure to stop at a railroad crossing. A man who who allegedly attacked a woman and set fire to her home in Grand Forks, scheduled to appear in court today. Police indicate James LaDucer and the woman were in the process of breaking up. He went to the woman's home. The victim said he punched and kicked her before setting fire to a cardboard box in an upstairs bedroom. No one seriously injured, including the 7-year-old twins who were home during the alleged attack. And Fargo Brewing Company closing its doors and filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They posted on social media the last day of operations will be November 27th. They've been in business for 14 years. The brewery said it's bidding farewell to a community it loves so much and urges residents to continue supporting the local craft beer scene. A warm-up for the weekend before we level off, getting into next week. Your KFYR AccuWeather forecast is coming up.
Your Halloween soundtrack starts with Halloween Radio on the free iHeart app.
With your hands on your hips.
Plus custom playlists from every genre and the spookiest podcasts on the planet. Open the free iHeart Radio app, search Halloween, and listen now.
iHeart Radio.
Free never sounded so good.
Looking to get more customers for your business? Then you should be looking in podcasts. That's just about what everyone is listening to. In fact, 135 million people listen every month, with nearly half of adults 25 to 54 listening daily. And those adults who have more to spend, they're also spending more time with podcasts than social media. So talk to your next customers where they're already listening, in podcasts. To get started with the #1 podcast publisher, iHeart Podcasts, visit iHeartAdvertising.com today. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
I'm NK, and this is Basket Case.
What is wrong with me?
A show about the ways that mental illness is shaped by not just biology,
swaps of different meds,
but by culture and society. By looking closely at the conditions that cause mental distress, I find out why so many of us are struggling to feel sane, what we can do about it, and why we should care. Listen to Basket Case on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Basket Case to start listening.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. Sunny skies, a high today at 60. Partly cloudy tonight, low 32. Partly sunny, breezy, pleasant day tomorrow, the high at 60. Clear skies tomorrow evening, low once again at 32. On Sunday, partly sunny, a little bit warmer, the high up to 68. And then sunny and warm on Monday, the high Monday afternoon, 67. Plan with confidence. Check out AccuWeather.com and download the free app today. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Steve Williams.
8:43, it is 30 in Bismarck. More guns in the 701. Clay's on deck. Hang on.
Your Halloween soundtrack starts with Halloween Radio on the free iHeart app.
With your hands on your hips.
Plus custom playlists from every genre and the spookiest podcasts on the planet. Open the free iHeart Radio app, search Halloween, and listen now.
iHeart Radio.
Free never sounded so good.
Hey everyone, it's Katie Couric. Well, the election is in the home stretch, right in time for a new season of my podcast, Next Question. I'm bringing in some FOKs, friends of Katie's, to help me out, like Ezra Klein and Ested Herndon. But we're also going to have some fun, thanks to some of my friends like Samantha Bee and Charlemagne the God. Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Next Question with Katie Couric and start listening.
What does the heartbreaking fate of the cheetah tell us about the way we raise our children? Why was Los Angeles the bank robbery capital of the world? I'm Malcolm Gladwell. In my new audiobook, Revenge of the Tipping Point, I'm looking at these questions and exploring the dark side of contagious phenomenon. You can hear a sneak peek of the audiobook on my podcast, Revisionist History. Listen to Revisionist History on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app, search Revisionist History, and start listening.
Hey, it's Lauren Brett Pacheco, back with Season 3 of Symptomatic, a medical mystery podcast. This season, we're investigating brand new cases and even revisiting old friends, piecing together the truly baffling symptoms and revealing how the quest for medical answers transforms the lives of everyday people. This is Symptomatic. Listen to Symptomatic on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Symptomatic and start listening.
Is diabetes stopping you? US Med can help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes.
Choose US Med and experience better service, better care. Visit usmed.com/better.
Are you looking to make the most out of your savings? On Raisin.com, you can earn higher interest rates with just a few clicks.
Raisin.com gives you access to some of the best rates on CDs and high-yield savings accounts from our partner banks and credit unions nationwide, all from a single login. With your free account, you can fund and manage multiple savings accounts, maximizing your federal deposit insurance coverage and minimizing headaches. There's no minimums, no hidden fees, and no fine print. Grow your savings today. Visit Raisin.com. That's Raisin.com.
We're here to connect you with roles that let you grow your career. United Health Group is hiring difference makers like you to help make the healthcare system work better for everyone. Visit careers.uhg.com to apply. Diversity creates a healthier atmosphere. Equal opportunity employer.
Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, 1974.
Story behind the Rumble in the Jungle is like a Hollywood movie.
But that is only half the story. There's also James Brown, Bill Withers, B.B. King, Miriam Makeba.
All the biggest black artists on the planet.
Together in Africa.
It was a big deal.
Listen to Rumble, Ali, Foreman, and the Soul of 74 on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Rumble, Ali, Foreman, and the Soul of 74 to start listening.
I'm Maria Konnikova.
And I'm Nate Silver.
And our new podcast, Risky Business, is a show about making better decisions. We're both journalists who moonlight as poker players, and that's the lens we're going to use to approach this entire show.
We're going to be discussing everything from high-stakes poker to personal questions.
Like whether I should call a plumber or fix my shower myself.
And, of course, we'll be talking about the election.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app, search for Risky Business, and start listening.
846 and KFYR Guns, the 701. Clay's here with me. And serious health conditions don't stop kids from hunting Wyoming big game. Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I had this sent from a listener. I want to thank him for that. I thought it was kind of a cool, nice, uplifting story for the weekend.
Yeah.
A kid by the name of Caden Archer, he achieved his goal of basically harvesting an elk. Now, the thing is with this guy is he's unable to walk because he's got cerebral palsy. It didn't stop him. He knew he wanted to do it. He went ahead and he set his goal, and he achieved it. So he's just hunting about 200 yards out. He's from Indiana, so there's not a lot of elk down in Indiana. So he's used to shooting a really 200 yards or less. But he had to crawl about 75 yards to get across. And I don't know if you've been between that Farson and Lander, Wyoming area. It's not exactly smooth down in there. There's some rugged country down in there. I've actually been down there hunting myself. And, of course, like any landscape like that, full cactus. So he had to do that. And I like his comment. He says, of course, he says, my adrenaline was going. I had to sit there after crawling 75 yards. I bet it is. I had to sit there for about 20 minutes just to calm down before I took the shot. That's what he told the Cowboy State Daily, where this article come from. And he made the shot. He dropped that bull. It sounded like one shot and drilled it. I mean, I don't know, Todd. I know a lot of guys around here that on deer season, they can't do it in one shot.
Yeah, no kidding.
They hit, wound, miss, whatever. And at 500 yards especially.
He can't walk, but darn, he can hunt pretty darn well. That's awesome.
He can definitely shoot. So that was great. And then he says, I knew that I had a task to accomplish. He's very uplifting. Something I wanted to get done. I came to Wyoming for one thing and one thing only, to kill an elk. And you just got to love. So here's this kid that has went and surpassed cerebral palsy, can't walk, a lot of things in his way, right? And that didn't stop him. He just went and did it.
We all need to remember that story. Anytime you're having a day where it's like, oh, I don't think I can, I doubt that I can do it. But really? This dude shouldn't have been able to do that, and look what happened.
And he did it, yeah. That's what was great about it.
Yeah.
I read that and I was like, this is just, that's like, I don't know, like you said, everyone, we got it pretty easy, don't we? We got all our limbs. We can walk, we can talk, we can hear, we can see.
Well, my knees are shot, but, I get your point.
Still walk.
I can waddle, but, it's still probably better, but,
Yeah, and this kid's like, nah, I'm not going to let that stop me. I can kill it. And cerebral palsy, I can.
This dude needs to be like on a speaking tour and have everybody, show everybody what he did, and then get him up there and have him, have him talk about, geez, anything's possible.
Absolutely. And his dad, he said it was a family first trip to Wyoming. They loved it. It was made possible by I didn't realize this. It's called Muley Fanatics, and they have a foundation out there, and they're the ones that put this on. They call it the Putting the U in Hunt program.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, and
That's
then
clever.
bring kids out, and they're just proving that the kids are capable. Don't treat them like they can't do nothing. And I've had family members with disabilities like that are physical, and don't treat them any different. They don't want to be treated different.
No.
They don't want you feeling sorry for them, and they're probably more, they're more achieved and more, I don't know, you could say they're going to accomplish more and get it done than you or me because they have an actual goal and they have a reason to. They're going to overcome it. I mean, probably some of the most motivated people I've ever met are those that suffer from a physical disability like that.
It's Clay Guns of the 701 here, 850. Gas station clerk, in fact, right by Boeing, of all places, in Seattle. I had to double check on the map where that was. I mean, I remember living out there back in the 80s, and yeah, East Marginal Way. You're talking right by Boeing. Shoots suspect in self-defense during heated altercation. I'm thinking every single gas station clerk ought to be packing.
Yeah, especially out in Washington. And that's why I brought this, because that state isn't exactly known to be gun-friendly to anybody. And I knew where it was, too, because I've been out there. We had a big meeting out there my last year when I was with the NRA, and it's not a nice place. We didn't stay far from there. Wait, what the heck? Did we come down here and into the hood? Good thing we're at the NRA, right?
I mean, there are some beautiful parts of Western Washington, but that Boeing-ish area of Seattle is not. Yeah, that's not
a nice place. You definitely want to be.
I mean, if you have to pitch a tent because you got to live out under a bridge, then maybe. But no.
There was a lot of them under the underpasses out there. I can tell you that.
No, this is incredible. Ugh.
Yeah, so this thing, basically, the clerk was taking a break. He went out to his car, taking a break, and basically didn't think nothing of it. He seen these two people that were sitting, out there. And he asked them to leave the property, which that's not unusual because they were doing narcotics in their parking lot. But, I mean, a lot of private businesses say, hey, don't loiter. But yeah, these guys are doing drugs. And
then sometimes in those big cities, it's like, oh, I don't dare go up to them but still.
Well, you get a situation like this. He said it to them. Then it escalated very quickly. They called the guy. They identified him as the suspect. They don't have the name released yet. Became hostile and threw a rock, shattering the clerk's car window. So then he threatened the clerk, stating, I'll shoot you too. That's when the clerk got a little bit nervous. He said he feared for his safety. This man, the suspect, he approached the vehicle then in a threatening manner. Well, not a good deal. He reached into his waistband. The 69-year-old clerk responded by firing a single shot. He hit the guy in the abdomen. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be hit anywhere. I sure don't want to be hit in the abdomen.
No.
There's a lot of things there to damage. So the suspect fled across the street and collapsed, kind of like when you had lung shot a deer or something. Anyway, in a parking lot near a Jack in the Box. I guess he's not going to get his burger. Anyway, authorities arrived on the scene shortly after, provided aid, took him to the hospital. He's expected to survive with his condition listed but not serious, but stable. So I guess, to me, this whole thing, even though the guy, and not every single self-defense use has to end in a death, and that's fine. This guy used his self-defense firearm, did it in the right manner, cooperated with police, which, by the way, they took his gun, so now he can't defend himself till the investigation's over, I guess. But it shows how important it is to always be ready and always be aware of where you're at.
Always train.
Always train, because you're never going to be trained enough for a real life situation.
Yeah.
But you might as well have all the tools you can. So yeah, absolutely.
Go to the 701. When's the new stuff hit?
Well, the new stuff here hits right away on iHeart.com. Get on there and check us out on the podcast. You can download the best one out there, and KFYR is a member of that. So we really encourage you to get over there. Right here every Friday, 7:15 Mountain, 8:15 Central. November 4th, we're going to be on Dakota Mornings with Michael Bell. Thinking of Ballard's Resort. See, I got fishing on my mind already. Anyway, that's going to be at 10 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. in the Mountain Time Zone. And then this Wednesday on GAT701, I'm going to have Jason Heidkamp. He's with DPI candidate for North Dakota Superintendent of DPI. We're going to talk a lot about when North Dakota passed the legislation to allow, concealed carry and carry in the schools and what that's all about. So going to tune into that. And we have a new Facebook page, Todd, and they kicked us off. So everybody go hit that, search GAT701. Well, I guess we'll be on there until they kick us off that one too. So
well, now that I'm on there with you, you probably have days numbered right now. Sorry in advance. All right, Clay. Have a great weekend.
You too, Todd. Catch you later.
All right, take care. 8:55. And before we hit the aforementioned Michael Ballard, as we're going to call him apparently today, it's a few birthdays to pass along, like Sam Bass of Ipswich, who's 15.